Yeah, I know, it's late. I should have reviewed it right away, but it's been a hell of a summer. How are you doing? I'm Anthonix Maximus, and I'm going to talk a bit about Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm going to just kind of speed this through because I also am using this set for another review. Guess what that review will be. Anyway, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it. People had a lot of shit to say, but I enjoyed it. It was a good time. Who you have? You have Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Vanessa Kirby, maybe relation to Jack Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, Julia Garner. They were all there. No, I actually really did enjoy the movie. You know what? I'm glad they didn't do an origin story for the most part, even though I still say we haven't had a good, proper interpretation of how they got their powers, but I did like that it was kind of quickly explained in the talk show that they had. It was very reminiscent to the very first two episodes of the Fantastic Four animated series, where they sat with Dick Clark to talk about how they got their powers. It was just fascinating to me that they actually altered timelines to just kind of jump right in with Sue announcing that she's pregnant, which is the major driving force of the film. And as you can see in the trailer, I love how they got Ben Grimm, the Thing, to already kind of figure out her news about her being pregnant. I just love the details and the look on his face. Like he knew what they were getting at. No, it's a great movie, and I really do feel like they put their Disney MCU money to use. They did go into space. They battled Galactus, a female Silver Surfer. That didn't bother me too much. I mean, I prefer Norrin Rad Silver Surfer, but Shalaba is just as good too. In the comics, she's actually his wife on his planet of Zenla, but she's been the Silver Surfer in the comics as well, so in the movie, they just went ahead and went with her. The casting was actually great. Pedro Pascal, I love him as an actor, but he just really refuses to lose that mustache. But the mustache grew on me, and I don't mean that as a joke, no pun intended, how they interpreted his character. He kind of has these tics about him. It's not just a smart guy, but he has these little tics that set him aside from the other interpretations of the Reed Richards. Joseph Quinn, if you loved him in Stranger Things, you're gonna love him in this movie. I mean, he has the same boy-like energy. Vanessa Kirby, I loved her in this film. I think she was the perfect Sue because she really does have that warm, uniting the people, motherly vibe to her. And Ebon as Ben, even though they could have done a better job with his voice, they captured him just well. I didn't know how they were going to do Galactus before they made this announcement because, you know, back in 2007 when they had Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, they had the Galactus fart cloud. I would just say, like back then, my whole argument was, what, you expect them to cast some guy to be a giant in the sky? And in this movie, not only they did that, but they actually pulled it off. They really made him look intimidating. They had the whole space fight scene, and then when they had baby Franklin Richards, adorable little baby, kind of bordering the creepy Uncanny Valley looking vibe with the baby. I don't know, I can't place it because a lot of times it was a real baby, but it kind of felt like it was CGI. Not as bad as the Twilight baby, but you just knew something was off. But no, I mean, I think everything that you see in the trailer is pretty much what happens in the movie. They do set things up where you think, oh, okay, this is how it's going to match up with the MCU. Because remember, they've made this announcement that this Earth is a different Earth than the Earth we've been knowing. It's not the Earth 616. And they do things to make us think, okay, they're going to connect this way, and then they pull the rug. There are cameos in the movie, and there are characters that we see in the trailers, but does not happen. Otherwise, it's just a perfect interpretation of Marvel's first family. They really did feel like a family. They all felt connected. And that's all I'm going to say here. If you want to know more, well, I recommend you see the movie. Otherwise, if you've seen the movie, keep watching. If you haven't seen the movie, you may want to skip to this. Yeah, it was a good movie, right? You're with me. It's a good movie. It was fun. It was a fun flick. A fun movie. I loved that they had Mole Man in it. They didn't make him a real villain. They just showed him in clips, like brief clips. I did like that they fought the creature from the first issue of the Fantastic Four comic. But again, it was just through clips. Got really exciting once they went into space. I loved the whole introduction of Galactus, from the shadows to his reveal. I also like that during the chase with Silver Surfer after the Fantastic Four in space, there's a whole birthing scene, and it worked out pretty well how they filmed that. And I liked Galactus's motivation of why he needed Franklin Richards, because only Franklin would have the ultimate power. As I mentioned in some other reviews of other things, like X2 X-Men United, I mentioned that he's amongst the most powerful mutant of all of Marvel. So it's natural that Galactus would want him to kind of take over the role, because Galactus's hunger to take out planets, well, that's kind of a thing that he's forced to do. They could have included more of the heralds to fight the Fantastic Four, because he does have plenty of heralds to attack. I did like this Silver Surfer, though. I did feel like she was more into the whole fighting part. It is interesting. It's just like the recent Superman movie where they decoded an alien language, but in the weirdest ways. Like, they made Johnny Storm actually really intelligent. He wasn't just a pilot, but like really smart at decoding languages. It's kind of a easy writer's gimmick to figure out what Silver Surfer is getting at. And it's also kind of funny that he tried to offer himself as a sacrifice to save his nephew, even though I don't think there was an actual scene between him and Franklin in the movie. It just kind of felt a little forced. Just a little. I liked Pedro's interpretation of Mr. Fantastic, because he actually tells his son that he doesn't want his son to grow up to be anything like him, because he feels that even with his intelligence, he's damaged. And I think that's supposed to speak to like people with autism, perhaps. As I mentioned, I like Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm, because when the crowd is demanding that the Fantastic Four releases their kid, the baby, to Galactus, she has a way of she gives this really great speech that turns everyone around. And she even gets Mole Man to assist and allow the people to be underground to hide from Galactus, because the plan is, and this is what really threw me off, thinking this is how they were going to incorporate them into, the main MCU world, was that they somehow organize a whole planet to put up these towers in order to transport a whole entire planet somewhere else. And I thought that's how they were going to be introduced into the Earth that we know. Because as you recall from the ending, well, maybe this is a spoiler for some of you, but in the mid-credits scene of the Thunderbolts, we see the Fantastic Four ship arriving. Hopefully they brought that adorable Herbie, because that's what these movies have now. Adorable dogs and adorable babies and adorable robots. Yeah, I would say Mole Man was underused in this. But no, they ended up actually using the towers to transport Galactus away. And him being detached from the machine that, kept him alive might have actually killed him. And I like that Silver Surfer was the one that pushed him through that portal. Now we're supposed to assume that he's dead because, he's away from his ship. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see more of him, because we have Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is going to try to harvest as much power as he can. I'm just really sick of the whole multiverse thing, though. Just so sick of it that I can't wait until the final Avengers movie, Secret Wars, because that's just ended all right there. It's getting exhausting. I have to admit, it's getting exhausting. Then when Sue dies and you see the baby crying and trying to reach out to his mother and revive her using his powers, I don't know, I felt a certain kind of way, just seeing a baby cry for his mother and he actually brought her back. I mean, that kind of hit close to home. I did appreciate that, and I also appreciated how they walked away as a family. I wish they had Alicia Masters actors in this. No, they actually replaced her with a different character. But I suppose they can't have every single Fantastic Four character on this particular Earth either, so yeah, that makes sense. Kind of messed up that they cut out John Malkovich's part, but outside of his monkeys in that brief scene, I don't know how they were going to really fit him into it all. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I didn't expect Doctor Doom in this film, but that mid-credits was pretty significant with the back of Doctor Doom. You see Doctor Doom talking to young Franklin, because this is years after the event, and supposedly, that's not a stand-in. That's supposed to be Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. And Doctor Doom actually does have an important role in the comics as far as being there for the children of Reed and Sue, because, well, he's always trying to harvest powers. He also was there to help deliver Sue's second child. Let's go ahead and get back to our non-spoiler friends right now. Hey there, so welcome back, my non-spoiler friends. If you haven't seen the movie, don't listen to the fans of the comics, because they're full of shit. Like, anyone who says it's a bad movie is full of shit and never read a comic. It's a movie that exists, but it's still good. It's still entertaining. It has great designs. It has great ideas. It has great humor, great characteristics. So I say watch it. Check it out. There is a mid-credits that's very essential. And then there's a post-credits where it's just a little cute, funny thing. I do recommend it. In fact, I think it's time for me to give this Anthonix Maximus Matinee a review. I would say Fantastic Four First Steps should get a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Closer to a 6 than an 8. It was a stepping stone type of movie to the next Avengers, but it is a very essential movie nonetheless. And I'm a fan of Fantastic Four. I'm just saying 7 is closer to 6 than an 8 just because, well, I feel like with a great threat with Galactus, they could have done a little bit more for it. But otherwise, go see the movie, because here's the thing. You don't want to outstretch the fantastic time. Otherwise, this movie will go invisible. You'll be burnt or torched. And that'll just leave you doom.